voice, so I had to enlist some help.
Dancers?
And I don't have a lot of time, so I'll spare you an introduction and just start. I quiver at the river's mouth, from which the gulf once fed, a laughing gull, a gulp of the regurgitated bread. Dabbling drakes buried their bills in silt and sifted through and dredged. The Mississippi's margins once were nourished, vivified, and fed. Plashless skimmed the muddied wake, they plunged their green-hued heads, like needles tugging thread to mend the confluence of river's mouth and salted sea, and fed the utter glut of life, the pulsing origin, a bed of sucking sludge spit out, a terrapin, a crab, a bug skimmed surfaces like meaning darts, from hypothesis to theory of, to law of being fed. I am mad for taking on the tongue, the parasite, the fish, the fowl, of which I've only read. These storied organisms beds crawfish by the bayou, cypress roots backward scooted, fledgling egrets flapped uncouth rhythms at Biloxi, footfalls, dread. I carry this weight like a woman, athwart my hip and wailing. Let it beat my breast for the milk on which it fed, the suckling child whose lips a diaspora were spread, to drown on air like catfish gripped and nearly dead, mouth marking time, this metronome resounding in my head, like all the barges harbored here, once hollered at and fed the masses a surfeit of rations, until the fish kills quickened, greasy, upturned, dead and bloated, choked this crude-banked river, rigged with history, embedded like plankton, bled out drilled wounds no one could staunch, or preen from feathers with a beak, or stay the otter when he pried the oiled mollusk from its shell, or halt the current I wade into. I now know just as foul the fetid fed.
I gave, and I gave, and I strove, and I gave, to give more. The more that I gave, the more that you craved, the more that you asked for.
No, no, not with your hands. Drink like a bird, drink like a bird. No, no, not with your hands. Drink like a bird, drink like a bird.
It's happening, it's baffling. I have seen your lust wash over the world and corrupt me by design and confound, all by the current upending time. Don't you land in the reeds here, egret, keep to the sky, keep to the sky. You'll come regret that nest here, egret, fish have all died, fish have all died. Don't you fret about the deluge, egret, the sea must rise, the sea must rise. Moving westward. Roadside U-Haul, Red Rock, Utah, red dust. Next services, 86 miles, U-turn. At this butte, red, kindred. Kicked sand and talismans, you scrawl a sign. Gas. Bighorn on the hood. You say you need to push west like salt, like red water, red time. Gravity uses stone, uses tributary, uses stones. You say you need to raise red rock, use red paint. Inner red reveals figures. You say you need to dispatch a dream like an envoy. Like the sun bends light, sends heat, then disappears before disappearing. To share a skin with tragedy, marked by, held in, conducted by, always so closely by. Brr. A thin ice starts at the shore, abdicating molecule by molecule, conceding momentum, to put off for a time. I almost never notice the frost until it needs scraping. I just keep stepping from this side to that, scooching my chair to crook my neck, a small hot breath, and my sleeve, and the sound it makes with glass, like going back to my book, forgetting where I left off. To see the man, too late in the orchard, boots crushing prunes, as a boy, before the steam off the lake and the dry year, by brittle limbs, bears too fast fruit. To be out in the world, water, barley, hops, and magic, with lubricant and good hair, wax, clay, sap, and salt to run the faucet. After all, fucking Hetch-Hetchy is burning. A soot-faced firefighter with his rigid hose, frontier-style houses, rimfire to douse. I can hardly contain myself to make a splash, to make a faithless or disloyal act the man, to allow an illegal fire to escape. He must not have known to let the prevailing wind into the body, to let him irrigate designated space with purpose and hope. He still drinks from an unsullied well. To see his breath condense and linger from full lips in the doorway, all interstice and vapor, to be always between the snow on Tuolumne Meadow, that's a good sign. I almost never undo the buttons to pleasure myself. To just keep him in is enough, like an ice melt, to dilute the vodka, to be home at a decent hour, undress and step into the shower, to cry. To slip and take the cold plunge, submerged in, pelted by, carried in, always so deeply in. A system designed for breathing, pressing my arms in, the surface, molecules pull inwards to put this into words.
Wow.
Thank you.